By the way, Ryza, did you find anything other than, of course, this treasure I'm saying? After all, you weren't in search for a mere treasure that we, of course, could just alchemize out of our buttholes, were you?
I would be so disappointed if you were in this for the money. I, of course, am in it for the Fallujah murder.
I'm in it for the fashion.
In it for the pussy. Who am I kidding?
So, no, I didn't find what I was hoping for. I was trying to find something for free so it could stay with me forever and ever, but there's no mana here. But I might have discovered something related to my future. I'm gonna turn into a Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all, which includes me.
What about you, Impel? Did you find anything? Did you find what you were looking for?
Oh, I still haven't found.
As a matter of fact, I did. It's not everything I need, but it's good enough for now.
If you try sometime, I'm sure you'll find you get what you need. Ah.
Well, that's good then. Don't explain what the hell it is, because that would just... We don't need that information.
Oh,
Indeed you don't.
I feel like something really deep is supposed to be happening, and I'm just not getting it.
What I've learned should prove useful someday. In a third game, perhaps. And perhaps sooner than you might think, wink.
It really depends on whether Lethal and JG go straight to the third game, or if they stop off with something unrelated first. That's really going to define this one. Anyway, once we feel like we've checked out everything, let's call an end to this adventure. Hint, start playing the next goddamn game. We've done everything there is to do. You want one more scene with the thieves and Ghost Lady? Just move the fuck on.
At this point, you have the Platinum Trophy. Turn off the console.
Yeah, there's green text yet, but it's not like you're reading any of the lore anyway. Just stop. Just let it end.
I know you need that SP for something. Mm-hmm.
Meeting of Fate has been updated, folks. It's not even people with dialogue. It's like, oh god. You would assume
maybe that one has dialogue.
If it doesn't, I'm just like, what the fuck? There we go.
Dialogue.
Explores. I didn't think the mirror would vanish and open up a new path. This may be the end of my fate. So this is the legendary pirate... Oh, it's a pirate. Pirate's proof of succession. If I'm going to take it, I'll have to at least leave a replacement behind. I shall leave behind a treasure of my own. For the next generation of explorers who will come here one day.
That's when he drops his pants and, in place of the gold, leaves his own pile.
Yes. I wasn't gonna go with pile. I was gonna talk about a spectral cock, but yeah, pile of spectral feces is good too.
Well, I mean, leaving your cock behind. I mean,
he's dead. What does he care?
He wouldn't be at that point.
I guess not. It's like, well, one last thing before I go. I'm gonna cut it off. Makes sense to me.
You said I'd never do it, Martha. Well, I'll show you.
Okay. Well, we have to do it, folks. There's no way that we can leave green text unexplored. Ancient relic.
I guess while you're doing this, let's think about our closing thoughts on the Ryza 2.
Okay.
As far as, like, the game is concerned, I felt a lot less connected to our characters in this one, only because, I don't know, in the first one, our characters were growing up. Now they're just kind of doing their own thing, and we had some character progression in the game, which was mostly like not being a bitch anymore. And yeah, that was... What else did we have as far as character progression?
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do this.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm actually finding it harder to think about this and keep an eye out for the word hidden potential than I thought I would. I feel like, well, sort of there was two things going against it, right? Because there were new characters that in theory we could have cared about, but at this point, we're invested in the characters we already had, so it's kind of tough for any of the new characters to really But like, oh great, I want to learn more about Sari and Clifford. It's kind of like, you know,
I suppose really the highlight of this game was Tao as far as his growth is concerned, because he used to be just a little bookworm, and now he's got a future.
Well,
Everyone looks up to him.
And the cool thing about Tao is that he didn't stop being who he was. He progressed without like, it's not like some fucking like, oh, she takes off her glasses and lets out her hair and she's beautiful. It's like, no, Tao's still Tao. Tao's just like kind of getting more rounded. And what I was starting to say about Sari and Clifford, like, kind of couldn't give a fuck about them. As much fun as it was to do the voices. But Patricia I liked because she was connected to Tao, and I was already invested in Tao. So, like, Patty was my favorite of the 3 new characters by a considerable margin, and I think that was because I was invested in Tao, and they were connected to each other. She was part of his growth because he took her under his wing. Clifford is just, I don't know.
He's a weird addition to this game because he's just like, hey, you're looking for treasure? Fuck, man, I love treasure. We totally hang out, even though I totally do it on my own all the time. But I'm turning over a new leaf because, well, my mom says I should get out more.
I feel like if he was in the first game as like the goofy person they met who's really obsessed with treasure, and maybe part of the problem with Clifford is it didn't seem like the Ryza liked Clifford very much. Like she's so bubbly in general that like you can see her just being connected with everyone she meets, but she didn't seem to particularly like Clifford, which made it like, so why the fuck are you guys letting him hang out with you? But if he was like the weird kid who came into town, who like Lent and Tao were like, I don't know about this guy, but Ryza's like, no, adventure, shit, that's like what I've wanted for forever. Like, I think Clifford would work, but he doesn't. So, too late to add him to the series.
I suppose another character that had a lot of growth, even though we didn't get to play him, is Boss. Like, Boss definitely has changed a lot as a person from the first game to the second one, even though he looks very, very much the same. Maybe a little taller and beefier, but he's very much the same person as far as how he looks. But he's matured as a person.
I think Boss might have been my favorite a character that you don't play as in the first game, just because he was like, I like a character who's kind of douchey, but then you find out why they're douchey, and they don't stop being who they were. You just get a little bit more of an idea of, okay, like this is why maybe he's acting like a dick, and it's not just inherent dickiness, but there is some backstory there. So yeah, like seeing him kind of he's still a bit prickly, but like he's like his relationship with them has evolved was nice. And also like a little bit of this whole, oh, he's a proud Brennan and he's so stuck up, but like in this game it's like, no, he's like serious about his responsibility. Like, I don't really understand why this island has like this pseudo monarchy led by his dad because he owns the water or whatever. Like that all seems a little weird, but at least Boss seems to be invested in the idea that, yeah, I have responsibility to advance myself. I'm looking forward to seeing the third game, because I had been guessing all along that like he and the Ryza might be love interests, but I'm pretty sure she's never going to have a love interest. I don't think that's where it's going.
Lethal looks at the camera. Maybe we'll learn in the next game. But
maybe we'll learn in the next game.
JG has been pushing me. He's all, Lethal, we should do something on your channel. Like, I guess we could do that. Lethal really enjoys these because he doesn't have to do shit.
I've suggested it. You wouldn't have to fight that hard, but to get me to jump right into the next one of these. But I figured we'd talk about that while not recording. But no, I understand that whole I don't have to do anything but the voices thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing something on your channel for.
Yep, so we'll fight back and forth off camera, see what happens.
Work that one out, yeah.
You'll know in the future what we've decided, probably, maybe.
Well, just look into that mirror, and the future will be revealed. You're like, am I fighting a giant Lethal or a giant JG that represents what I will be watching in my future?
We shall see it momentarily. Carry a sword rituals? Also, they are just giving us SP at this point, which is kind of ridiculous. There could have been more uses for SP.
Yeah, well, that's actually a pretty good point. Give me 1 second here to make sure, because I just kind of blanked what we were even looking for. did we ever got more stuff on the whole SP purchasing meter? Because if we did, we just kind of forgot to even look for that, which would be a thing possibly. But no, I don't think the skill tree ever like, yeah, you got the DLC. Here's a bunch of new skills that you can buy. Like, if there were, then I guess they were available from Jump because I had the DLC pre-installed. I think they just never gave you anything else to do with SP, so that's kind of lame.
Let's see. I'm looking online to see if there's any use you can do with this.
I'm vaguely curious if a little bit more lore, but like that scene felt like, no, that's it. That's the last scene. And doing the green word game at this point is just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you need to, if that's gonna make you happy.
And we're done with the bandits quest, just in case you were wondering. We had that whole perfume moment, remember?
Okay, if that's the end of it, then that's the end of it. Yeah.
That is the end of it. Yeah, from what I'm seeing online, it's just too generous with the SP. So there you go.
Well, they got into there was this whole thing where, like, suddenly there was a plot about pudding again, and pudding was a major plot in Ryza 1. But, I don't feel compelled to see the resolution of pudding quest if it is its own separate quest. And I think we are about to input the explorer's memory. Explorers explored the ruins with compass and the phantom beast. Squirrel! Whoever he was, squirrel! His mission, even after a lifetime of searching, and left his hopes to the next generation. Complete 2000 spa.
Wow.
Research in the Sunflame Island is complete.
It's 100% on all of our island ruin thing balls.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
All right. As far as our...
We are well and truly out of shit to do.
As far as the Tomas and Madame Maid line, let's go ahead and go to the quest log real quick, just to verify.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's one of these Ryza quests.
Let's see.
Okay, Underworld Gate again. That's the main story. I think there may be...
Because we should have one called Declaration of Friendship, which would be the last one in that chain. Or Business Plans would be the one before that.
Let's see. We got the... so these are the Rami quests. I think they may be done.
They're done.
Okay. Farmer lady. Here we go. Oh, no, these are the DLCs. Underground Crystal. Strange Mirror.
Strange Mirror. Well, it looks like we're probably done then.
Yeah, I don't know where to go to look for those other ones, because this...
The game could use some better quest tracking here for this stuff, because it is very difficult to find some of these.
Well, this is a billion times better than the quest tracking in the first game, though. There's a lot of little quality of life improvements in this game about, like... We definitely ran into moments where we didn't know what the fuck to do, but usually it was down to, like, us blanking on the fact that, yeah, sometimes you do have to gather alchemy ingredients you haven't gathered before. I think most of the time when we got stuck, that was it. Like, why isn't it triggering us to make such and such item? And it was because we either hadn't hit a specific marker in a dungeon, or we hadn't picked up a specific alchemy item. But, like, compared to the first game, particularly on the side quest stuff, as opposed to the main quest stuff, you would just, without a guide, there's no fucking way. It's like Legend of Mana level. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing? I don't know. Oh, well, I guess this quest is over. And it's like, you are on step 2 of 7. Ryza 1 had a lot of that, so.
Guess we're done.
I think we're done. All right, well. One last nighty night with the Ryza and Fee. And yeah, we're
thumbnail right there.
There we are. And somebody did point out in the comments how you would go about seeing her sleeping without Fee, and we probably did on screen before we got Fee, and just didn't register. So yeah,
first time.
So we were talking around a little bit. I kind of wish I could shut off this background music while we talk. Oh, you know what? We could do this. So yeah. I don't know, we were kind of going through the cast of characters there. Clifford just didn't quite land. I had a lot of fun I always have fun doing the Revolver Ocelot voice, but Clifford is not a character I'm going to, I think, remember very far. And Sari was similar. It's like I'm not sure what Sari was bringing to the party. Like Lila, she could be annoying. I thought her character design was super like because this is ultimately I have like a 9-year-old niece who would love a game in which a girl uses her intelligence to help other people in her community and have adventures, and I can't show it to her because it's all hypersexualized. And Lila makes the Ryza look like a down-to-earth, plausible female character design. But Lila did have a personality. She had a relationship with Empel and a relationship with Lent that felt like possibly real relationships with other people. Sari was just like, I'm here and I like plants and I'm not too sure about alchemy, but I now like alchemy. Thank you, the Ryza. Like there just wasn't much going on, you know?
She was very distrustful of the group initially because of the whole alchemy thing.
Yeah.
Because the Orans kind of do have a justifiable prejudice against alchemists. What with them destroying their their hellish place of birth and life.
Maybe we're overanalyzing a game with hypersexualized females in a light, endearing fantasy setting, but it did feel like that was an idea for some tension in the party to be of interest, but it wasn't like they just didn't dive into it enough. It was just like, yeah, there were little moments where she's not as perky as everyone else. Oh, now we find out why she doesn't like alchemists. It's like, no, there could have been some real tension. I guess if she was going around like, backbiting them and like thinking about fucking betraying and murdering them or something, it would raise the question, why the hell are we working with her anyway? So I guess that's the trick. Like, how do you balance that right? But no, it seemed like, oh, that could have been interesting if there was like tense, angsty conversations about what alchemists had done. And I mean, they are all supposed to be teenagers. Teenage melodrama wouldn't be out of the window. But I think the Ryza is just too sunny and positive, a character and a game world for them to do anything with that.
Well, perhaps the next game will dive more into Orin things. I can tell you that there will be at least one more Orin character introduced.
And Orins are that's why I had my false impression that we were heading to the Ryza and Boss being sweethearts, if nothing beyond that. But I think not. I think Boss's storyline, because he's playable in the next game, as we've already joked about and hinted at. So I think they're heading towards him actually maybe recontacting the Orin from the first game, or maybe they'll just forget she existed. I don't know.
Maybe he'll get in with Kilo.
It's not a game series where I'm expecting like really, I don't think the ending of this is going to be like a really detailed ending of what happens to everyone afterwards. Although the first game felt like it was. Like they were really pushing this idea that the Ryza was being left behind and everyone else was moving on. It was a little melancholy at the end. This one's just like, oh, anyway, we're done having our adventures now. Bye.
I hope we get to see more involvement with Impel and Lila in the next game.
Yeah. The Empel's relationship with Ryza and Lila's relationship with Lent were, I think, some of the sweetest and kind of most endearing parts of the first game. And Empel even had like a little side thing with Tao, where he was kind of like helping Tao to grow. But although obviously the Ryza was his student, but them being like, I almost wish they weren't in the game at all, or like or just like maybe like. Maybe like the Ryza would get letters from Empel or something, but like them being like in the game, but to such a reduced extent, I don't know, it didn't work for me that well. Not that like the game doesn't need to be about them, but like if you're not going to use them, don't have them around. And I don't know, I liked Lent in this game. Not Lent, excuse me. I mean Tao. I did like Lent actually. I like the fact that when Lent first appears, they are not immediately all chummy again. Although I don't really remember why they weren't, and I don't remember that resolving in an interesting way. At some point, to stop being a dick.
Lent didn't really know why the fuck he was being a warrior.
Yeah,
that was his big character development. He was just doing it for the head pats. And Lila's all, no, you don't do that for the head pats. Oh, damn it. Well, I guess I'll have to just be a good person. I've developed. And that was his.
That was kind of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Lent it wasn't a strong game for Lent. And I don't have a good feeling that they're going to do anything interesting with Lent in the next game either. I hope that we see Lent's dad again. Even without the Macho Man. Yeah, no, even without the Macho Man voice. Like, the idea that Lent's dad is just like this gruff guy. He's obviously got a drinking problem. He's obviously missing Lent's mom. Loves his son but can't say it. Like, that is a very believable dynamic that I would like to see Lent. Even if it's not like they hug it out at the end and are buddies, like Lent kind of coming to some kind of acceptance. I might, again, probably overthinking what's supposed to be a very light game, but Lent just doesn't seem to have an arc in this other than don't do it for the head pads, do it because of Bushido? Like, I don't know. Because I don't know why Lila does anything either. So
why you even do anything, Lila?
I think I missed Lila writing journals that basically said MPEL talks too much. That was one of my favorite moments of the first game, and we didn't get that again.
Yeah, we didn't get the right journals, which is unfortunate. But maybe next time we will.
What did you make of Fee?
I mean, he's a main driver of the game. It's kind of absurd that he's just, take this egg. I don't know what the fuck it is, but sure, figure out what it is. Could have a Pokemon in it. And then we have a Pokemon, which is like the Deus Ex Machina of the entire thing. Without Fee, there's no progression through these ruins at all because we don't get the compass and we don't get any sort of activation.
How do you feel about Fee? As in Japan, you can probably buy Fee merchandise, and that's probably why Fee was created.
I mean, yeah, that's why you do things like that in anime. They have the sexy like figurines. They need the squishy figurines.
Oh,
I guess I could still have those.
I think you can get a squishy. I'm pretty sure you could probably buy Ryza body pillows over there, but yeah, I thought I like. I guess what I really should be asking is, hey, you picked your Fee voice before we even started. Were you hoping to get to use that for more dialogue than just Fee?
I did use it for more than that, but I did have to make up my own lines.
We had to have parentheticals,
which is fine.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what I thought Fee was going to be, because I was dimly aware that there's some kind of mystical creature that the story revolves around, but I didn't think it was really going to be just fucking Pikachu, except without electrical powers.
As far as I know, in the next game, we do not have any adorable pet characters, but maybe I will be proven wrong.
You could be proven wrong. It could be that Patty gets her own Fee as the game tries to switch to being about her.
Tao.
Yeah. No, so these games come out at such a goddamn rapid pace. I kind of can't imagine that they had a lot of fan feedback from people who had played through and completed the game on Ryza 2 before they were already developing Ryza 3. Like, I don't think I can bring myself to believe that. And I know they have like fan votes and shit and like who's your favorite, like you if you want to read about a historical figure in ancient China, you have to be prepared to wade through where they placed in Famitsu's Dynasty Warriors character popularity poll. I'm like, no, I'm trying to read about Cao Cao, like the actual figure from like 200 BC. I don't care where he came in the Famitsu popularity poll. But yeah, like I'm sure they had fan feedback based on, people looking at preliminary character designs, blah, blah. A part of me wants to say, yeah, there's no Fee in the next game because Fee sucked, but I can't imagine they actually knew whether fans liked Fee or not when they got around to writing the third game.
Well, I'll tell you that the first game was released in September 26th of 2019. The second game that we've just played was December 3rd of 2020, so a little more than a year after the first game. And our third game was released in 2023, so they had 3 years, well, a little less than 3 years between the release. So they could have gotten fan feedback, and that might be why Fee's not in there. It's hard to say.
Well, I mean, they did write the story in such a way that Fee... They could obviously have brought Fee back if there was this like strong outcry. We need more Fee, but no, it's interesting to hear because that does suggest second game followed pretty hot on the heels of the first game. It does feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting to do like a deep dive research. I wonder if Gust released any other games between Ryza 2 and Ryza 3. Maybe they did an Atelier that wasn't as popular, so they went back to Ryza for the clicks, as they say.
Well, thankfully, I have the power of the internet at my fingertips, so I can tell you if there was a game released. And there, in fact, was. It was Atelier Sophie 2 was released.
Oh, okay.
And also a Blue Reflection Second Light, which I don't know what the fuck that is. It's a role-playing video game. Uh-huh.
What's Gust? That was a pretty strong bet. It's actually Gust's first foray into first-person shooters. So.
No. This one's definitely another game similar to this, but I think this is more of a, I don't know, could be a slice of life kind of game. There's ether meters and gear for battle. There's battle and everything, so it's probably a very similar game to this, just without alchemy.
Yeah.
There you go.
As we're just kind of pontificating and pondering, it is weird to me that what pulled me into this series, because I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of this. There's a fuck ton of Japanese weird series that I probably would enjoy if I had infinite time and capacity to play these games. It's still strange to me that the reason I played any of these is because they were extra weird bonus characters in Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I want to say 14. So that is why we are experiencing these games at all. And while I was playing that, I did not know that oh god, I'm blanking on her name now, Lila and Sari. I did not know that they were different characters. I was like, oh, they've got slightly different portraits of this like stupidly huge boobed white haired woman.
All Orin look the same to JG.
I know, I'm such a racist. Well, I mean, they did. Well, actually, I think at some point I did recognize, hey, these character names are different, because there was a stretch where I was like, how come there's 2 Lents, 2 Taos, 2 Rizzas, 2 Empels, 2 Lilas, but there's only 1 Clifford and there's only 1. Was Patricia even in the game? For some reason, I want to say we never encountered Patricia. Maybe she got...
And she has a big stupid sword. How could she not be in that game?
How could she not be? Maybe she got... And a weird... I was about to joke, like, hey, maybe she got executed by Cao Cao, but, like, in that game, it's weird. They won't... And this is a cute thing, which it's more amusing to me now. At the time, it was just puzzling. If you capture officers in RTK-14, you can, in fact, execute them. You cannot execute the characters from Atelier. Because I tried to. Having not played the game, I didn't have any positive or negative feelings about any of them. But like Tao in particular was a real bitch. He was a pain in the ass, an outsized pain in the ass to Yuan Shu's efforts to conquer China. So when I captured him and tried to execute him, it just because it lets you click it, and normally you would have the character portrait and a death quote like, my sons will avenge me, or I will await you in the next world, and there I will have my revenge. For you try to execute one of these characters, it's just your advisor's face pops up instead and says, "That would be a bad idea, my lord."
He's literally just a little guy. I know he's a pain in the ass. He's licensed contact from Koei Tecmo. You cannot execute him.
You do not get to kill Gus characters. What the fuck?
If he's a real person, sure, go nuts.
Well, folks, yeah, I think I don't know. As ever with these, I never organize things to say in advance, so I always think of something I should have said later. But I think we can safely wrap up. I think we can say that we both enjoyed this game. I want to say I didn't get as quite as into it as the Ryza one, but I don't know. I can't really say what I would have done too different. I think it was important to change the setting. I think it was important to throw in some new people. But that being said, it was like, if it was like 90% as enjoyable as Ryza 1 was, then that's pretty good. And that might be all that you could really ask for. But I'm hoping the third game manages to be the best of the 3.
Well, they had more time to work on and learn from these ones, so
right.
We'll see in the next series.
It can't help but be better with more boss. I do feel bad for whatever new playable characters we have in a game that now has... It's a series that now has 2 games worth of playable characters, and like the third person, like it's kind of like the big muscle dude who shows up in Mass Effect 3, who's not a bad character, but how could you possibly fucking care at this point? You've played through 2 Mass Effect games. You've had Tali and Garrus around for like 8,000 hours. I don't care about the big, strong Hispanic dude. I want my Tali and my Garrus. So they will have quite the step to impress us. But I think the most important thing to remember is that under no circumstances are you allowed to execute Tau. See you next time, guys.
Bye.